are listening to Nocturnal Frequency Radio, hosted by Steve Jenny and his satanic assistant, Alex Houdini, both of whom can't go into churches without vomiting.
And welcome to Nocturnal Frequency Radio.
Good evening, everyone.
Hey. It's still kind of weird doing the whole visual thing. I don't know. I don't think I'll ever get used to it, but hey.
Well, look at yourself in the mirror every day. You should be.
Well, yeah. It's funny because I'm red, and it's not because I'm blushing. I'm burnt. I'm burnt. I just went for a walk today, and I'm burnt.
Well, has been one of the nicer days that we've had in a long time. So
I got my vitamin D today, Kaitlin.
That's amazing.
I think you got too much, though.
Too much vitamin D. Yeah, too much. Everybody, I want to welcome Kaitlin Hendry to the show. Thank you for coming on, Kaitlin.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super happy and excited to be here.
And we've been talking about doing a show like this for a while, and it's been in the works for I don't know how long, but I don't know. And we said, okay, well, let's finally do this. And of course, we absolutely appreciate you coming on and spending some time and educating us all about holistic healing and alternative sort of medicines and lifestyle and all that kind of stuff. So I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people that want to know some interesting stuff. So, but let's start with you. So you are a certified holistic nutritionist, among other things.
Yes.
What led you down that path? Why did you want to be in this field and sort of where would you like to see it go?
Yes. So for me, my career path actually started as a hairstylist, and I've been in that industry for about 10 years now. It was something that I always wanted to do when I was a little girl, and I still really do have a passion for it. However, life circumstances and things changing, it led me down to this path. And back when I, was a little bit younger, not to say that I'm not still young, but back when I was younger, I was really big into the world of fitness. So I was heavily into the gym and loved exercising, and it was a large part of my daily life. So much so that I decided I wanted to embark in a fitness competition. So I did one of those, and I'm super proud of myself for that. It was a crazy experience. Lot of obviously restrictive eating and heavily working out, probably more than I needed to, but I really enjoyed it. So for me, it was no biggie. However, after placing top 5 in my first and only competition, I just realized that was not the lifestyle I wanted to live. Obviously, with it being unrealistic and stressful on my body, both physically and mentally. And on top of that, I felt like I was in the gym more than I was actually spending time with my friends. So fast forward about a month or so after, starting to eat regular foods again and getting back into just normal daily life, my body began to change in a few ways, and I knew something wasn't right. So it started with like my digestion. It just went completely off. My energy plummeted, and I knew I needed to go to my doctor just to figure out what was going on, because I wasn't feeling like myself anymore. And I was like very relatively healthy prior to that. I mean, I've had some things here and there like we all have, but other than that, I was pretty good. So unfortunately, that doctor's visit led me to several doctor's visits, some specialist visits, and some unpleasant testing that I didn't think I'd ever have to go through at the age of 27, which is when this had happened. So about 6 years ago now. And all of that to say, it basically led me with a diagnosis of IBS, so irritable bowel syndrome.
Oh, wow.
And my doctor, it just made me feel really, basically like I had to live with that for the rest of my life. They couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. So they diagnosed me with IBS, which I've learned through the years of my own research and going to school that that's just an umbrella term. So after feeling super discouraged and frankly quite dismissed from my doctor, I decided that I was going to do some research into this myself, which I had always been pretty good at doing, because I do believe that you have to be your own health advocate to some degree.
Yeah.
And that led me to where I am now. So I heavily researched, and I realized that IBS was not a terminal diagnosis. I didn't have to live with that for the rest of my life. There are many reasons why something like that can manifest, and working with a holistic healer and practitioner myself, working with several actually, I determined that I had some underlying infections, which is pretty common in my digestive system, which we can get into a bit later as to why and how that can, kind of manifest in somebody. And then I just fell in love with it, and I wanted to help other people who had been, told that, they had to live with IBS or whatever diagnosis it was, or, that you had to take a pill for the rest of your life to be able to manage this issue, because it's just simply not true.
And sorry to cut you. I mean, that's a huge thing. I mean, I have a problem with people who, they have a condition and the doctor prescribes medication, like say high blood pressure or cholesterol, whatever, and they're basically content to take that medication for the rest of their life without even having to say, try to better themselves, to try to wean themselves off that medication.
Exactly. There's a time and a place for Western medicine. So I'm not going to sit here and say like, oh, don't ever listen to your doctor and don't ever take that medication. But I mean, there's a reason why it got to that place to begin with. And you have to take a look at your lifestyle, right? And it's not just diet. Diet's a huge one. And it's not just, supplementation. Supplements are meant to be supportive, but the idea is to figure out like what's going on in your life that's, kind of led you down this path to that condition.
like, I remember years ago, I had really bad anxiety.
Mhm.
And, the thought of, okay, I was having panic attacks. I didn't know what they were. I just
Yeah.
thought I was having heart attacks. And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, this is crazy. And of course, the doctor goes, oh, you got to go see a shrink. And I go, here we go. Of course, you go to see the shrink, and they're just going to prescribe you something. End of story.
Yeah.
And sure enough, that's what happened.
Mhm.
And I you know started taking the medication, and it kicks in, and I'm like, wait a sec, I don't like not having control. I don't
Mm.
like that feeling.
Yeah.
There's got to be a better way. And I did my research. What could I possibly do? You mentioned diet,
Yeah.
certain foods, cutting out certain things in my lifestyle. Like, I was smoking. I quit smoking. I quit
Mhm.
drinking pop, caffeine,
Yes.
all
And
sorts of stuff that
yeah.
are that were linked to that sort of thing. And I haven't had anxiety or depression or whatever else to that point since then.
That's amazing. And
Yeah.
to touch on the whole anxiety picture, like there is a very huge gut brain connection. So a lot of mood disorders, whether it's anxiety or depression, ADD, ADHD, even autism, it all comes back to the gut. Like gut health is a very big foundation to everything.
Yeah. Well, and most people would not even think about linking the two. Well, that's the thing. And I go back to using the terminology content.
Yeah.
Most people think that, okay, look at, and like you, I don't want to look, the doctors are valuable
Yeah.
assets, obviously. I
Mhm.
mean, you wouldn't know what was going on unless you went to go see a doctor.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, but I mean, yeah, to me, I've always thought there are other means. There's better ways of dealing, and sort of not just facilitating the issue, but to better yourself.
100%.
You know.
Yeah, 100%. Like and for some people it might not be a dietary thing. And the whole contentment piece that you just, touched on, it's contentment, and I feel like it's also a little bit of comfort, right?
Mhm.
And people, maybe who are older in life, they're like, I've been eating like this, my whole life. There's no way it's related to food. This just
Mhm.
happened. But things take time to manifest in your body too, right? Like when symptoms surface, it doesn't mean it was something that, just happened like the other day or the other week. Like it takes years to build up in your body. So that's another huge piece.
Absolutely. Like, okay, so say you have somebody who comes and sees you, and they have, let's say, um nagging heartburn.
Mm,
You know, and they've been to the doctor, and the doctor prescribes the usual whatever, and they're like, "Well, this doesn't seem to work," and it just continues. Is it like, what would you sort of add to that sort of scenario?
yeah. So as somebody who used to struggle with heartburn a lot,
Yeah.
the problem with heartburn or acid reflux or any kind of gastritis issue, a lot of doctors are quick to say it's because there's too much acid, right? And that's where you're getting that regurgitation feeling or that burning feeling like the heartburn.
Mhm.
And 95% of the time is actually because you don't have enough stomach acid.
Mhm.
So that sounds like super conflicting. A lot of people are probably like, there's no way, like I feel the acid. But what's happening is you have this sphincter. It's called your lower esophageal sphincter. It's going to get a little scientific here.
That's fine.
um, that connects your esophagus and your stomach. So when
Yeah.
you eat, the sphincter will open as it should. But then after that food or that beverage that you swallowed has passed, it should close tightly. But
Mhm.
what happens in cases of heartburn or acid reflux, is that sphincter stays relaxed. And there's several causes for that. It could be, you're not breaking down your food properly. So there's a lot of fermentation and gas buildup. And that pressure from your stomach, from your abdomen is causing this sphincter to stay open. So it's giving you the sensation that the acid is spewing up. And that's not actually the case. And the reason why taking things like proton pump inhibitors, which are like your prescriptive antacids, or even getting antacids over the counter, that's suppressing your stomach acid even more. And the problem with that is if you do not have enough stomach acid, you cannot break down your food, specifically proteins, fats, carbohydrates. And if that food isn't getting broken down properly, it's going to cause some gas, some bloating, and some fermentation coming back to the sphincter being relaxed.
Yeah.
On top of that, your stomach acid helps you absorb your minerals. It helps you absorb some vitamins like your B12 and your iron. So this can come back to issues with people not getting enough calcium and magnesium from their food that they're eating because they can't absorb it. And then this could lead to things like osteoporosis. People are absorbing the B12 or the iron from their protein or from whatever the sources of the food that they're eating because of this antacid reducing their stomach acid. So the problem is, like, if you need to take an antacid, which 95% of the time, like I said, you do not, because it's not really that common to have too much stomach acid.
Yeah.
It's not ideal to be on it for more than 30 days because you need to determine, okay, well, what's causing this issue? What you do need to do is you need to supplement with something that's going to be supportive to your digestive health. So a digestive enzyme. This doesn't cause the unfortunate, negative effects as an antacid does, or prescription from your doctor does long term. And it helps you to break down your food and still absorb all the nutrients that you need to do. So that's the unfortunate part, right? Like I said, there's a time and a place for medicine, but unfortunately, a lot of these drugs, they do more harm than they do good.
And I must attest to the enzymes. I've found ever since I've started taking them, I've noticed right away what a difference. What a difference.
I've had the pleasure of helping so many people just be like completely mind blown, with just taking a digestive enzyme and all of their symptoms disappear.
Yeah, I mean, I've even said, told other people, says, look at, I don't want to say I was a Tums or a Rolade popper or anything like that, but like anyone else, you got a little bit of indigestion, you take it, to feel a little bit of,
you want that quick relief,
quick relief, and everything's okay. But you find yourself, okay, wait a sec, I'm constantly taking Tums. What's going on here? Something's going on. So,
and there's stuff brewing that hopefully doesn't end up manifesting into things like osteoporosis, or even, like, again, stomach acid. It's a natural sterilizer. So when we eat foods, if there's a parasite or a bacteria or some kind of foreign pathogen that's not supposed to be ingested, and we don't have the right amount of stomach acid because you're taking antacids to kind of neutralize that and to kill it off, that goes into your gut. And then hello, parasitic infection, hello, bacterial overgrowth. And then you got more problems to deal with. So that's why when I hear people say, like, oh, I'm taking antacids or these, prescription antacids, sorry, it makes me want to just get them off of it right away, because I know the damage that it's going to cause long term.
And I mean, it's sorry, Alex, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, are you able to suggest, or not suggest, but name one of these enzymes that you could take?
So, like, broad spectrum digestive enzymes you can get at your local health food store. There are some brands that I typically go to just because they have. So you have your pancreatic enzymes that will help you digest your proteins, your carbs, and your fats. And then you also have something called betaine HCl. That's the stomach acid. And then you also need something like ox bile, which will help you to digest your fats, because you need to look at the whole picture, right? So getting a broad spectrum digestive enzyme is definitely something that you can find at your local health food store. If you need me to give you like specific brands, I can do that too.
No, that's fine. I was just curious.
The one, like I have two that I use, and one of them is super enzymes.
Yeah, super enzymes is a good one.
And that's one I take with food.
Amazing. Yeah.
right? And the other one is if I need like quick relief or whatever, if I'm having some issues, is just a regular enzyme with peppermint oil.
Yeah, peppermint can be really, so interestingly enough though, actually, peppermint can be a lower esophageal sphincter relaxer. So some
Oh,
people with
okay.
heartburn and reflux don't do well with peppermint. However, other people do. And this comes to the whole, everything is individual, right? Like one person might have a really good reaction to something, whereas one person might not. And that
Okay.
doesn't mean to say you can't, there's nothing else for you. There's a lot of other options. So yeah, that's awesome. And another really good, like quick relief of heartburn or acid reflux is licorice.
Oh, wow.
But
Licorice.
it's a specific type of licorice. It's DGL, which stands for deglycerinized licorice. The regular form of licorice, if you have high blood pressure, can actually increase your blood pressure.
Mhm.
So if you have high blood pressure, make sure you get the DGL form of licorice. And licorice is a natural demulcent. So what that means is it will help to soothe and coat the lining of your esophagus and your intestine. So it provides like that coating for you, which will help relieve, somebody who's suffering chronically with acid reflux or heartburn.
Wow, that licorice. So are we talking about multi-flavored licorices, or is it just one
It's
flavor?
just like your standard licorice.
Standard licorice.
Yeah. So if
Well,
you
we're
don't
not.
like black licorice, you might not like it.
No,
But
I like licorice. It depends, though. I don't like black licorice, though. I'm not a big black
Well, then
licorice.
you're not going to do well with this.
I
probably
know.
not. If you don't like the taste of licorice, it doesn't taste like red licorice. No.
I actually like the black licorice, so
Yeah,
I might
So
look
you're-
that up.
you know, look it up. There you go. Now, okay, so what about somebody who is again, we were talking a little bit about anxiety and depression. What could somebody do to sort of help ease or help them sort of maintain, you know, I guess a healthier sort of keeping the depression at bay or soften the blow or help it go away, so to speak.
Yeah. So, I mean, if someone came to me and that was their main concern, I would obviously dive deep into their lifestyle.
Mhm.
So, again, this is going to come back to diet because I just explained that the gut brain connection is very strong. So, if there's somebody that's consuming, copious amounts of sugar or caffeine, pop, etc., like that's something that we would cut out, just because, I mean, there's no nutritional value to that kind of stuff whatsoever, unfortunately. And it can create that dependency and that kind of like addictive behavior. And it also will kind of start to wear down the good bacteria in your gut. So things like sugar, good bacteria don't eat sugar, bad bacteria eat sugar. And we also naturally have a little bit of yeast in our gut, also called candida, and they thrive off of sugar. So if you're overfeeding these bad guys per se in your body, they're going to kind of take over the good guys, and that's going to create, anything, right? Whether it's depression, anxiety, digestive issues, asthma, allergies, a whole other bunch of chronic conditions, unfortunately. So diet is huge. Lifestyle is huge. Managing stress, right? I would take a look at what kind of stressors they have in their life and give them some stress reducing techniques, whether that be, and everybody's individual. Somebody might benefit from meditation. Somebody might benefit from yoga. Somebody might benefit from a therapist, therapy is amazing, right? Like as long as they're not quick to prescribe, right?
Yeah.
And again, I'm not against prescription. When it comes to prescriptions for anxiety medication or antidepressants, sorry, it also, like most pharmaceuticals, does come with side effects, and they can be related to, neurological stuff too. So, somebody who has anxiety or depression goes to their doctor, gets some antidepressants, and they end up feeling suicidal. It's like, what am I taking these for? And it's like, they do have an imbalance on our neurotransmitters, and there are neurotransmitters that are there to help you promote calmness, relaxation, things like serotonin. 90% of serotonin is in our gut. So again, we got to look at the gut, because if you're not producing serotonin, that's keeping you from that calm, rested, relaxed kind of feeling, and leading to anxiety. Some natural things other than the stress reducing, we've looked at the diet. There are some helpful supplements that you can take, GABA being one of them. It is a neurotransmitter that can help produce that feeling of calmness, that anti-anxiety. Passion flower is another really great herb that is also really helpful for reducing anxiety, panicky type feelings, heart palpitations. You need help sleeping, because people that suffer with anxiety, they might have it during the day, but they also have it at night, and it's causing a disruption in their sleep as well. So there's lots you can do.
One thing I always notice too is sleep is it's obviously important.
So important.
And the one thing, the one link I always found with sleep and anxiety is you're in a your defenses are down when you're sleeping.
Yeah.
And especially people, I guess a psychiatrist will sort of explain them as thin-skinned, and where every and any sort of situation will bother them. They'll go out of their way to actually interject in a conversation with somebody else that maybe they're not sort of agreeing to what's being said.
Mm-hmm.
And it's but with the sleep, people don't realize that it's amazing the amount of sleep that you don't get.
Yeah.
And how it does affect, well, obviously not only your brain, but
Mm-hmm.
everything else, right? So
Yeah.
sleep's the major thing.
Sleep
Uh,
is foundational.
so what are some of the most common things that people approach you about?
I feel like, because I have, like my own personal history with it.
Yeah.
It's a lot of gut related issues. I guess I like kind of attract these people because of what I put out there, and how much focus I put on it. And you don't have to have digestive issues for me to say you have a gut issue, because like I was explaining, like everything comes back to the gut. Asthma, allergies, skin conditions like eczema, psoriasis, rosacea, acne, hormonal issues, whether you're, a female that's suffering with premenstrual syndrome or infertility, thyroid imbalances, so many things, majority of things come back to your gut health. So I kind of always go there with my clients, because it's pivotal. Like it's so important.
You mentioned psoriasis. I've had a battle with that all my life.
Yeah.
Thankfully not bad,
Mhm.
but it does flare up.
Yeah. And usually with the skin,
Mhm.
it's your largest detox organ. A lot of people don't think that's an organ, like your skin, but it
Yeah.
is. And when things start to surface on your skin,
Mhm.
it's kind of like your body giving you well, most symptoms are your body giving you a signal, but it's giving you a signal that your detox pathway, like your liver and your gut, something's not getting out. So it's pushing out through your skin.
Oh, so it's a good idea to detox it.
It is, but the right way. Don't go
It's
buy
the
a
right.
detox product off the shelf, right?
I don't think I'd want to. I've seen some pretty scary detox.
Yeah, and that's the other unfortunate thing, right? Like you have to be careful with supplements, because a lot of supplements are marketing.
Mm,
And I'm always going to advise to work with somebody, because even if it did work for you, a week later, you're back with your same symptoms again. There's a strategy towards, detoxing, healing, etc. You can't just take the supplement for 28 days or do the diet for 28 days and then all your problems are gone, especially if you're going to go back to the way you were living prior to doing that, which was the reason why you wanted to do that, right? So holistic like as a holistic nutritionist, the whole holistic term is looking at the person, their body, their mind, and their spiritual side too. So it's the whole. You have to look at the whole individual.
I did a crazy detox
Did
years
you?
ago, and you know what? It actually worked, but
Okay.
the number one, I lost 30 pounds.
Amazing.
I lost 30 pounds, and I just felt really good afterwards. And I'll tell you, it was what was it? It was aloe water,
Mm,
like straight aloe water,
yeah,
not
very
this,
healing.
not the Korean aloe water that people
No,
get on this. No, this is straight aloe, right?
nice.
And people are like, you ate aloe? Yeah, it's got
So
a
did
weird
you get
taste.
relief? Did you get like the aloe plant and scoop
Yeah.
it out?
Well, yeah,
Amazing.
yeah. No, I actually had that, and I even though it told me to cut out caffeine, I did. Terry says burrito detox. Sorry,
It's a running joke, by the way, Caitlin.
that's a running joke, Caitlin, with us. It said no caffeine, but I did indulge. But I did a lot of research, and I actually found a family farm in Japan
Oh my.
that cultivated their own green tea,
Oh, that's nice.
and I've been buying it ever since. And I buy and drink sencha,
Oh,
uh,
yeah.
and that's the only thing I drink. Nothing in it, just sencha, and I'll tell you, it does so much. It does so much, and people will go, but it's green tea. You'd be amazed.
Yeah.
You really
Green
would.
tea has so many benefits, right? Like it gives you the energy that you need. So, I always it doesn't taste like coffee. So some people can't quit their coffee because they love the taste of it. But it gives you the same energy, except it gives you clean energy, right? Like when you
Mhm.
drink coffee, you're not getting that spike and then that crash. Or sorry, you
Yeah,
are getting that spike and that crash.
yeah.
Whereas when you drink green tea, you're getting like that stabilized energy
Mm.
where you're not going to get that crash. Plus, you're getting the added antioxidant benefits, which is super important to have in your diet.
And it's super mellow.
It is.
It's not overly bitter. It's just
No.
mellow.
Yeah, it's good.
It's amazing, and I can't tell you how much water I drank.
So important. A lot of
Oh,
people don't think like that's the first place, actually. That is the first thing that I ask a lot of people is how much water are you drinking? And you're supposed to drink, I don't know if you ever heard this. You're supposed to drink half your body weight in
yes,
ounces.
absolutely. That's exactly what I was doing.
And then also the other part is obviously drinking clean sources of water. Because if
Mm.
you're not drinking filtered water, you're getting a lot of not good stuff. You're getting a
That
lot of
I didn't do that,
pharmaceuticals
sorry.
and
I
like,
did, next time, but back then I didn't know that. I didn't, but it was a lot of water. I drank a lot of water.
yeah. I mean, it's good. Like you're flushing things out. However, you're kind of adding to the pile because
Yeah.
there's a lot of pathogens and unfiltered water and heavy metals and things you do not want to consume.
Well, if it's any consolation, it wasn't tap water.
Okay. So was it bottled water or what kind of water was it?
It was, oh god, I used to buy this, it was organic.
It was organic water.
Organic water from a natural source, and that's the way they'd say it, organic. I used to get it at a health food store,
Okay, amazing.
years ago. I
Okay.
used to buy it by the I don't know, it came in a
Gallon?
1 point no, it came in a 1.5, and I'd buy, like, 4 or 5 bottles of it, right?
That's that's definitely better than tap water. I'm happy to
Oh,
hear
I
that.
would I absolutely won't touch tap water unless it's
There's a lot
perfect.
of people that still think that tap water is okay, and it's not.
No,
It's just
no.
not.
Chlorine alone, come on.
Exactly.
It's
Oh,
and
yeah.
the fluoride, there's so much fluoride. There's
Fluoride, heavy metals, like, hello, aluminum, like, there's just a ton mercury, plus pharmaceuticals, like, you're getting people's flushed, antibiotics and all this other stuff.
Now, somebody who and this sort of leads down to somebody wants to diet or lose weight,
Mm,
and they want to be responsible about it. They don't want to go on these crazy diets that you see out there, the Atkins and the low carb Weight Watchers and all that kind of stuff.
yeah.
I mean, what would you tell somebody who is looking to lose some weight?
So I would ask them what they're so usually when I'm working with people, I'll ask for like a 3 to 5 day diet diary just because I need to look at what they're currently eating.
Mhm,
If I see any kind of refined or heavily processed foods, like those have got to go. I am not somebody who likes to restrict people's eating. Like
mhm,
I I believe that you want to have variety in your diet. However, you want to eat a whole food diet. You don't want to be eating things that are packaged and processed that have literally no nutritional value whatsoever. When you're wanting to lose weight, fiber is essential, and you can get fiber from plants. You can get fiber from vegetables and fruit, which are pretty common, nuts and seeds. You want to include whole grains. So a lot of people, when they're thinking, oh, I want to lose weight, I got to cut out all carbs. No,
mhm,
absolutely not. You just have to cut out the wrong types of carbs. And like I said, that comes to your white bread, your white rice, your white pasta. You can still have bread. Just look for a sprouted whole grain bread. You can still have pasta. Just look for a brown rice pasta, but obviously rotating through your foods, right? You don't want to, have pasta every day of the week or have the bread every day. Like you want to get different variety of foods, but focusing mainly on whole foods. Like
mhm.
you should have no issue with losing weight. And if there still is a weight issue, then we would look a little bit deeper into maybe some hormonal imbalances because that can lead to metabolism issues. There's so many things that can be done, but I don't like to restrict people with their eating at all.
Yeah, they get a little moody.
Yes. And if you're drinking
Like,
pop,
"Eat away from me." Sorry,
I
the
said if
pop?
you're drinking, like, so a lot of people are like, yeah, I want to lose weight. I eat really good. I eat really good. I eat a ton of vegetables. I eat a ton of fruit. I'm like, okay, amazing, amazing. So why aren't you losing weight? And then they're, oh, well, I drink pop like 5 times a day. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's a huge one. You need to get rid of that.
But even worse though, people who, "Oh, I'm gonna go on a diet, but I still like my pop. I'll drink diet pop."
Oh, the artificial sweeteners in there. God, no, please, no.
Are they worse?
They're carcinogenic, right?
Yeah,
So artificial sweeteners, they're not good. I'm not going to sit here and say, "Oh yeah, you're going to get cancer if you drink that." But
yeah.
they do have carcinogenic properties, these artificial sweeteners. So yeah, they're almost worse than having, I would have cane sugar, which is technically a white sugar, but I would have that before I would have anything like aspartame. No chance.
And it's so hard it's so hard to well, I maybe for me, I don't know, finding stuff that has unrefined sugar, I guess,
Yeah.
is if you're going to have a natural sugar, I mean, unrefined is the best. What
Yeah. So what I usually say is like coconut sugar. I really like that as a substitute. So coconut sugar has not been refined whatsoever. It's still a sugar. So, if somebody's presenting, an issue like diabetes or like I was saying, an overgrowth in their digestive system, sugar is sugar, unfortunately. So the only case I would completely cut out sugar would be in that case. But otherwise, if you're looking for an alternative to white sugar, I would use something like coconut sugar. You could do maple syrup,
what
not
about
Aunt Jemima,
what
but
a- what
natural.
what about xylitol?
Xylitol is okay. Yeah. So
Yeah.
xylitol and stevia, those can be okay as well. Stevia is coming from a plant. So absolutely. But it does have, I don't want to say that artificial taste. It does have an acquired taste, and some people don't like it. So you can absolutely play with it, but it is also a very good alternative. Yeah,
Yeah, and I found, uh, one thing that I found, uh, I guess worked for me, and, I find it hard to get a good source now because is goji berries.
Goji berries, yes, I love goji berries, and
Yeah.
actually, my mother got me onto goji berries because she actually went to study traditional Chinese medicine. So she does acupuncture and herbology and all this other fun stuff related to Chinese medicine, which maybe we can talk about another day. And goji berries are a very good superfood, a very, very good superfood. Um, I would say go for organic where you can,
Yeah.
obviously, due to the fact that you don't want anything that's been sprayed with pesticides or herbicides ingested in your body, because that has its own havoc on your gut health as well. But yeah, you actually you can get organic goji berries at Nature Signature. So
I
wherever.
know, I saw. But you know what I was finding? I was finding though, I find them sometimes dry.
They are. What I recommend is soaking them. Even if it's for like 20 minutes prior to eating them, it will soften them.
Okay, because I mean, there's sometimes when I've bought that brand that you guys do carry
Mhm.
many times in the past. They've been so moist, so good, and
Yeah.
then other times they're like dry as hell. I'm like, what's going on here? I guess it's just this because they technically get it from the same source, or is it multiple sources?
I believe I would have to look into that for you, but
Mm.
I believe it's from the same source. So maybe it was just I don't want to say an older batch, but I mean, I don't know. I would have to figure that out for you.
But regardless, they're great. I love them. I
So good for
absolutely.
you. Yeah, like a great alternative to raisins, right? Or any kind of like sugar-filled dried fruit.
Yeah, I mean, because I mean, they give you that sort of, hey, they're like red raisins,
Yeah.
and people look at you, and go, red raisins, what? Raisins?
And they're actually very good for your heart. So if you're somebody
Yes.
that has any kind of cardiovascular issue, and they're a really good source of antioxidants. So yeah, if you haven't tried some goji berries, you
Would
should.
you say that there's some of the like the goji berry has some of the best antioxidants for its sort of class?
It could.
Yeah,
Anything colorful. So anything like with your deep reds or your deep purples are a
yeah.
really good source of antioxidants. So yeah, they definitely are one of them, but there's so many other sources as well. Like, you know, wine has its own antioxidants. There's benefits in drinking some red wine every once in a while. But, coming to a fruit and vegetable source, like your eggplants or your berries, things like that.
Beer is being talked about in the chat, and Kyle mentions hops in beer are also good for anxiety and sleep.
Yes. So hops is also another herb, and it's for beer. For beer?
In
In
beer,
beer. Yeah.
like hops. Well, it was just going, I guess, hops in beer, but hops alone, they are very nutritional, aren't they? I
Yeah.
mean, they're actually really good for you.
Yeah, they are. They definitely are. Again, from a cardiovascular standpoint, they're really helpful for any kind of like anxiety, heart palpitative like issues like that as well. Can definitely they don't sedate you, but they just give you more of a sense of, again, calmness, bringing that stress, fight or flight situation down.
So, okay, where do you see yourself going in this? Like, is this something that you want to take further? Like, what more can you do to sort of expand with the certified holistic nutritionist sort of standpoint? What else can you do to sort of expand yourself with this?
Yeah. So, I mean, my goal when I went to study this was because I wanted to help other individuals like me who felt completely dismissed and lost with, their diagnosis, whatever that may be, or just thinking like there's no way I'm going to heal and I have to just live with these symptoms or keep trying different medication to see if, it'll go away. So my goal and long-term plan has always been to work with people one-on-one. So I do that now, and it can look like I mean, I always like to say sign up for at least 3 months with me, because nothing changes overnight, especially when
Yeah.
you're wanting to treat from the root cause. And that's the goal. You don't want to cover it up with a band-aid approach, which is exactly what happens when you go to your doctor's office, right? Unfortunately, it's like, oh, you have this symptom. Okay, take this pill. See you later. And then you go back and you're like, okay, well, I don't feel this symptom anymore, but I have all these other symptoms. Oh, here's another pill. We'll see you next time. The purpose of my work is to get to the root cause of why you're experiencing whatever it is you're experiencing, or helping you with whatever health goal that you have, so that you can not need me in the future. I want to get to the root cause of the issue, help you address it from a lifestyle standpoint so that you don't need me, right? I want to equip you with the tools that you need to maintain all the work that we've done. I also like, it's, as a nutritionist, as a holistic nutritionist, we, again, like I said, we don't just look at the diet. The diet is important. We don't just look at the supplementation, although it is very important. I also look at the person energetically. So I do reiki as well.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, it's an ancient Japanese form of energy medicine, and we are all beings of energy, and anybody can benefit from that. And the reason why I have decided to include that in my continuing education and in my practice is because I did all the diet stuff. I did all the supplementation stuff, and I was getting better, but I wasn't 100% better. And when I included some energy work into my healing journey, that's when I really started to feel the differences. So that's kind of where I'm kind of going now. And there's so many other things that I want to do.
It's interesting how you mentioned that we're all beings of energy, and I can't tell you the amount of times that we have talked about that on the show, the metaphysical sort of aspect of life that most people haven't got a clue about.
No.
And Reiki and that sort of energy work is just an extension of that.
Yeah.
And you know what? You would probably be very interested in one of those conversations.
Yes.
But for now, let everybody know if they want to find you, talk to you, or whatever else. Let them know where they can find you. We've got a couple links out on the show page, but let people know.
Yeah. So like Steve said, you can follow me on my Instagram page where I'm pretty active, Miss Holistic, Miss.Holistic. You can follow me on my Facebook page, which is just my name, Kaitlin Hendry. I am in the process of working on my website. I am currently working 2 jobs right now, though. Got to find some balance, but you will be able to find me and all of the services that I offer on that, which maybe I'll pass on to you, Steve, in the future, so you can share with your audience.
Absolutely.
You can also email me at healingwithkaitlin@gmail.com. And again, I can send that off to you guys so you can share it with your listeners later. But that's the best way you can do it.
That's awesome. An hour flies.
It does. It does.
See how easy it is? It's just so easy, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Well, I will definitely be back if you guys will have me.
Absolutely.
We can get deeper into Reiki and whatever else. Yeah.
We'll have a part 2 extension.
Sounds great.
Sound good?
Yes.
All right. You
Thanks
take care.
so much for having me.
Well, thank you for coming on and sharing your knowledge and everything else.
Anytime.
All right. Take care, Kaitlin.
Take care, Kaitlin.
Good night.
Good night.
So that was interesting. Like I said, most of the time, I have always been like that when in terms of if I've got, like I said, when I had my, going through my anxiety sort of patch in life, I just didn't want to sit down and, let them, the depressive medication, whatever the hell they were feeding me, take over. I felt, I need to better myself to sort of better understand the situation. I don't want to be on, some prescription for the rest of my life,
Well, yeah, I don't think anybody really wants to be on medication for the rest of their lives. Unfortunately, though, some people are.
No, I know. And as we mentioned, content, comfortable and all that fun stuff. We're going to take a break here, buddy.
Okay.
We'll be right back. Second hour, guys. we'll open everything up. So if you guys want to join us on the panel and discuss whatever, you're more than welcome. We'll do that after we come back from break. Don't go anywhere. You're listening and watching Nocturnal Frequency Radio on the New Visions Radio Network, and of course simulcasting here on our live YouTube channel. On our YouTube channel. Once again, I want to thank Kaitlin for coming on this evening. And again, the info is in the YouTube. I believe it's in the description, the show description. If not,
It is. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I put it there. So thank you again, Kaitlin. And we definitely look forward to having you back on in the future to talk about all sorts of wonderful stuff. So don't go anywhere. You're listening and watching Nocturnal Frequency Radio. We'll be right back. Okay. You know what's funny?
Are we on break?
No, we're not on break. We're still live.
Oh, that's what I thought.
No, I'm just trying to see what we can play for everyone. Well, we'll do this. We'll be right back, folks. All right. Welcome back.
You see Kevin's comment?
What?
Is that someone's gut health? Honk honk.
Um,
That was my phone giving me the updates to the game,
which one?
the Leafs game.
What's the score now?
It just won in shootout.
Say what? The Leafs won in the shootout?
Yep. I know. I'm just as surprised as you are.
Well, they played good against Florida,
They played like shit against Tampa.
but they played. But I think they wanted Tampa to win so they wouldn't have to play Boston in the first round.
Yeah, maybe.
I think so. I think so. But anyhow. So yeah, where were we? We had Kaitlin Hendry on the first hour to talk about holistic nutrition, and that's something I've always taken quite seriously. I think. I mean, this isn't taking it seriously, but I've fallen off that wagon for a while.
Oh, you're drinking hops, so you're good.
Well, I always look at it. Hops are good for you, right? But in this format, I mean, you're better off eating them in a cereal or something. But is cereal good for you though?
Depends on which one, I guess.
Yeah, but when you look at cereal and beer, look how closely related they are. Right?
Minus the fermentation, I guess.
Yeah. Minus. Same ingredients pretty much. Minus hops in cereal, but I mean every malts, barley, oat, wheat, all same ingredients. Bread, cereal, beer. So I mean it's not outlandish to have a beer for breakfast, is it?
You're just trying to find an excuse to have a beer for breakfast.
I don't drink in the morning, don't get me wrong. So I'm just saying that's how closely related they are. But anyways, yeah. So we returned to the woodlot on Friday.
We did.
But it didn't seem. I wish I had the some footage loaded up, but I don't because tomorrow I'm going to be working on an episode based on that visit and sort of give you a look into the woodlot sort of scenario that we're sort of trying to complete, and it may not happen for a while, but we will get it completed. So you were thinking it just didn't feel the same.
No, it didn't at all. It had a different vibe when we went on Friday, and it might have had to do with the fact that we typically go when it's dark, but because the days are getting longer, obviously that didn't happen because we went more or less at the same time that we always go, and it seems serene, like we did one of the first few times that we went, and that was it. That's the only kind of vibe I got out of it this time.
Yeah, I didn't get much myself other than just the atmosphere itself. And like I said, I managed to capture some of that, and we will be a part of the episode. But just the atmosphere in that sort of little alcove with the frogs and stuff like that. it gives you that sort of vibe that I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's just something about that the noise that they make that is, I don't know. It just fits in almost every great scenario in an atmospheric sort of setting, if
Yeah.
you will. I
Yeah,
don't know if
that was pretty cool.
it was pretty cool, and I don't know if I call it soothing, but I think it maybe harkens back to, some of the classic movies I saw when I was a kid. And
Mhm.
you'd always, there'd be a scene shot out, an exterior shot or whatever, and you'd hear that noise,
Yeah.
or it would take you back to an area that you remember when you're in a when you were a teenager or whatever else. It sort of reminds you of that, it's just something about it. I don't know what it is.
Well, yeah, it's you're right. Like a lot of the movies, a lot of the horror well, I shouldn't say a lot, but there's been horror movies where you see people walking out in like a marshy land and all you hear is the frogs in the
Mhm.
background, and it kind of gives you that kind of sensation when we were there.
Yeah.
That you were in that scenario. The only difference is that it was still daylight, and when it's daylight, you don't really get that sort of fear factor, right? When it's dark and you can't see anything, and you hear that kind of noise, then you kind of start to wonder. Your mind starts to go off on tangents.
And I asked you the question. Do you think uh the woodlot is losing its nostalgia? And you said, what did you say again?
I don't think it is. I think it's just the timing, the time of the year. When
Yeah.
we go in the fall, and it's a whole different ball game. I mean, you
Mhm.
have the trees that are dying, so to speak. The leaves are changing color and falling down, so it's got that sort of atmosphere going. Plus, it's getting close to both of our favorite times of the year, which is Halloween, and that plays a role in it, right?
Mhm.
When you psychologically it plays a role in it, even if we don't admit it. It has that sort of atmosphere where maybe it makes us more aware
Mhm.
because of it.
Yeah.
And that's probably why we feel different when we go in the fall as opposed to the spring when everything is supposed to be renewed and become alive, sort of thing. So,
Well, it certainly was coming alive.
well, yeah, those damn frogs were for
Mm.
sure.
Mm.
Yeah,
Mating season.
yeah. I think we were interrupting them.
But what I was surprised, though, no coyotes, and from what I can recall, it is around their mating season as well.
Well, they were just busy getting busy. That's all.
Well, they get very irritable.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, seriously.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
So
You
you
would too
probably
if you're
just,
trying to,
well,
procreate.
yeah, that's the whole thing, right? Yeah, it was. But what I found interesting though is the little bit of information that we found in the other section.
Which section? The very first one we went into?
Yeah, the other side.
No, I know, but so in the original woodlot we got, or that other part
The
that
other
was
part.
further away.
Yeah, the other part
Okay.
further away, the
Yeah.
other side on the separation of the
Yeah. Yeah.
two woodlots,
Yeah.
and leading us down to believing that there was something there. Obviously, there was a house, a farm, or
Something
a
for sure.
house. Yeah. Um, Interesting. What bearing it has on our woodlot is why I'm intrigued by that, because um where was the house that was standing there at one point? And I mean, there was a boundary separation that was still clear in the field and again in the wood, marked with an old wire fencing that had been there for years.
Yeah. Or at least it looks like it anyway.
Well, it's growing through, literally growing through the tree, or the tree was literally
Yep.
encasing the fencing. So, I mean, that tree was probably at least 30 years old, 40 years old. So, I mean, it's been encased in that tree for quite a long time. So that fence has been there for quite a long time. And I mean, let's face it, how many people do you actually think go into that area? Probably not much,
No.
you
Yeah.
know,
I wouldn't think many people go through that.
So who knows? I don't know what it tells us, but it tells us that obviously something was there. What? I don't know. I still haven't gone over the audio from Friday night. I'll be honest, I'm not really expecting a lot, but if there is something, it'll be a treat, obviously,
Yeah, definitely.
you know. But like I said, I think you guys will enjoy the atmospheric camera work. It was really, really cool, and shot in low light, which is I love those. I love the iPhone cameras. So yeah. Anyways, if anybody would like to join us on the panel, link is in the chat. By all means, join us. So I've been coming on here quite a bit on Facebook and or sorry, YouTube, and watching some of the regular shows that I normally watch. And I just can't help myself but think that there are folks that are paying way too much attention to trolls.
Yeah.
And I don't understand. I don't understand why folks would allow that to sort of engulf their time being on here. I mean, we've dealt with trolls, God knows how long.
I find that with trolls or with anybody who tries to be negative, I guess, to whatever extent, if you pay attention to them, it's basically what they're looking for,
Mm-hmm.
right? You pay attention to them and you've given them what they wanted. So ignoring them a lot of the times, not all the times, a lot of the times will get rid of them. Because
Yeah.
if they find that they're not getting what they want, that they're not getting the attention that they want from you, they'll eventually leave. It's not the case with every single scenario, obviously, but for the most part, I found that's the case. So if you give in to them, and you let them sort of get the better of you, and what's don't get me wrong, I mean it's hard, and when people come on and say stupid shit, yeah, Sab says trolls lives matter, yeah, but if you give them the time of day,
buddy?
yeah, you basically you're giving them what they want is basically what I'm getting at.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to do that.
Like I said, I'm going through the archive still from the old BTR days,
Yeah.
and it just I've got so many samples of trolls that we've had to deal with, man. And it just I don't know, man. It's just
Yeah.
we're still going.
Yeah.
We're still chugging along here. What 14 years later, 15 years later, and
Yeah, I had no white in my beard when I first started doing the show.
I don't think I had this either.
Yeah.
Scary, isn't it? How young? Wait a sec. Hold on a sec. I can't share a picture. Hold on. Can I share a picture? Hold on. I don't know what this thing, man. Slides. Yeah. Okay. Maybe I don't know. Let's see. It only lets you do. No, doesn't let you do. It lets you do files. Okay. Let's see. No, I can't get it. I wanted to show a picture of us from say 10 years ago. Show people the differences, man. You're muted.
Scary.
There you are. Yeah, scary. It's scary indeed. It's scary. But still, like I said, we've been still going along here for 14 years, and I'm running low here.
I've done my refill already.
But I think the amount of people that the amount of good people you meet doing this outweighs immensely any trolls that you might come across.
Yeah, and that's what makes it, I guess, easier to deal with the trolls as well, because of the amount of people that you meet that you know you get along with and you befriend, basically, right?
Yeah.
The thing I see with a lot of content creators on YouTube and on TikTok and wherever else they do content is they don't get involved with their audience as much. Now, granted, if you're talking about someone who's got like 100,000 followers on YouTube, and every video they have thousands of people watching live, it's kind of hard to get personal with any one or any group of them. So I get that. I guess that's where we've kind of been lucky in a sense with YouTube anyway, because we're not at that stage yet. And so the people who have been watching us on YouTube and sort of interacted with us on chat, we can interact with them back easily, instead of having to sift through the hordes of messages that you see on some channels that I've been watching, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because once it gets to that level, it's going to be extremely difficult to keep up with it.
Well, that's why you want to have people that you can rely on. I have to admit, like, for the most part, everyone that we've met here on YouTube that have that I've interacted with, that we've interacted with, that have come to listen to the show or watch the show here on YouTube, that are new to the show, so to speak, have been great. Some really great people, and yeah, I can't think of anyone who has been, horrible, if you will. I mean, there's always that sore thumb that sticks out, but and we've had many of those over the years.
Yeah.
Many of those, but honestly, I just can't really pay too much attention to shit like that.
It's at the end of the day, it's not worth it. I mean, I know it's easier said than done.
It is,
because when someone says something really, really bad, it is hard to ignore.
Yeah.
But you just got to try your hardest to ignore it as much as possible, because, like I said, if you give in to them and give them any sort of reaction, that's what they're looking for. They're looking for you to lose it, basically. They're looking for you to, like, sort of go off the handle and say whatever, whatever you're thinking. That obviously, if someone says something shitty, and you're obviously not going to be thinking something nice, but if you go off and spew it, then they've won.
Yeah, it's I sit back and remember, again, when we were on BTR, and yeah, we had our deals with what we called goblins back then. We didn't call them trolls, really. I mean, we did call them trolls, but mostly goblins.
Yeah.
Right. But I mean, they would flood the phone lines. Like, we would get calls after calls, and every one of them would be a fucking prank call.
Yeah, I remember those.
Yeah, and the same would be in the chat. The chat would literally be flooded with stupid fucking comments.
Yep.
So we had to shut that down. We had no choice. We had no choice. We had to shut that down. We had to shut down the live calls. And you know what? We fucking loved the live calls.
Yeah, there was some really good entertaining ones.
There were some great I'm not talking about the trolls, but I'm talking about some of the callers that called in.
Yeah, that
there,
too. Yeah.
There were some really good callers that were wanting to interject some legitimate fucking talking points.
Yep.
Some amazing conversations, some amazing discussions.
Well, we met Justin that way, right?
Well, you too, right? Were you?
I met you at the customs house.
No, before that though.
No, I met you at the customs house, and that's when I started listening to your show, because I didn't know your show existed until the customs house.
Oh, okay. For some reason, I thought you were listening to the show.
I did after we met. Yeah.
Beforehand, though, I thought.
No, unless it was another Alex.
Yeah,
as an imposter.
Well, no, it would make sense because it was short, within a year. Because I mean, you came in.
Yeah.
What was it? 2009.
Something like that. Yeah.
2009. So I mean, it was within a year, so it makes sense. So yeah. Yeah, but I think way too many people pay attention to that shit, and it's unfortunate, but
they do. But you know what? I'm also thinking, and I could be completely wrong with this assumption, because that's all it is, really, at the end of the day. But it's like anything else. You look at TV, like you look at the newscasts on TV. All they report on is all the negativity, because that's what sells.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're looking at these YouTube content creators, and not just YouTube, but content creators in general,
mm-hmm.
it almost seems like they're doing it on purpose just to get the views.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I'm not suggesting that is in fact what they're doing, because I don't know, but it almost seems that way to some extent, because in my opinion, everybody is going to have their off day, obviously. Mm-hmm. And when you try to keep a level head, you're not going to always be able to have a level head. There's going to be days when you're stressed about other things, and this sort of would be the straw that broke the camel's back, as a matter, just as a saying. And those trolls get to you, and you lose it on that day. But if you watch some of these content creators, and I know what you're talking about, because some of the ones I watch have the same. They do the same thing.
Yeah,
they focus way too much on it, and it seems like they're focusing too much on it on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Right. So this is why I tend to lean towards that sort of thinking, because again, negativity sells for whatever stupid reason. And that's what they seem to be doing, just to get the views.
Well, I mean, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. Because I mean, look at when you do a show and pay attention, your content is on the trolls and whatever else they want.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're coming back with a show that's dealing with the trolls. So you're giving them even more attention. And they're like, wow, look at it. I got under their skin. We got under their skin. It's working, right?
Yeah.
They're doing a show about us. We're popular.
Yeah.
I don't know. It does sell. Yeah, you're right. I mean, the one thing that we've noticed about over the years, when you have a show that deals with negativity, I mean, we dealt with a show years ago with Ravi Thomas and another person, and look at that blew up.
Yeah,
we ended up doing a rebuttal, and it was ridiculous. It was a fucking mess. It was a fucking mess. It just, what was the fucking point?
Yeah.
But we got suckered into it.
Yeah. Well,
Was that before you came on the show?
I think it was. I
think it
remember
was just-
listening to your show. I remember you listening to that, and I can't remember who you had on, but it was just before I joined the show.
It was Robbie Thomas, Keith Age, Brian Harnois from Ghost Hunters, and a friend of theirs. I can't remember his name. Somebody who had worked with Keith and Brian. I can't remember his name, but they were all coming to Robbie's defense.
Yeah.
And I'm laughing because it was a fucking joke, to be honest. Because if they only knew, what that defense meant, right?
Yeah. It was funny because the one thing I remember about that show, because it was a long time ago.
Mm-hmm. It was a long time ago.
Yeah. Someone was accusing you of muting them on purpose.
Yeah.
Like this was in chat.
Yeah.
Right? So I was like, hey, this is juicy. It's getting juicy. What's going on over
here? It was probably Jen, right?
I can't remember who it was.
I think it might have been, I was muting her or whatever because she was, whatever. It was a joke. It's hilarious.
Yeah, but it is what it is. And then we found out what we found out about.
I'll put the fucking archive up here on YouTube one of these days.
Yeah, that's a long time ago, man.
I really just don't care because it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
And if it sparks up fucking problems, yeah, so be it. Who cares? It's entertainment, folks. That's all it is. It's fucking entertainment. It's like when the Bible thumper dude called into the show. And you weren't here for that, were you? No, you weren't on the show.
No, this is the recent one you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When he came on the show, and I just, here we go. We've got a troll.
Yeah. The biblical guy?
Yeah. Biblically speaking.
Yeah.
Biblically speaking.
Biblically.
Yeah. Play it. Yeah, play it.
Oh, that's all I have.
Oh, is that all you have?
Yeah. And then I also have this.
Thank you. You can now go and fuck yourself.
Yeah. It's a classic. It's a keeper.
It's like, shut the fuck up. Okay. I don't want to hear fucking biblically speaking. Shut the fuck up. How are you?
Yeah.
No. Fucking drop the biblically speaking.
Tell me. Weird. That's weird. How does I don't know anyone who's religious that talks like that. So I don't know what the hell's wrong with this guy.
I don't know. I guess that's just he does it to get under your skin. I don't know.
Oh.
It's just like, shut up. If you want to say something, go ahead and say it. But don't start off with saying biblically speaking. Mm-hmm. Who the fucking nobody gives a shit.
At least no one on this show anyway.
No. So if you're listening, call in.
Yeah, exactly.
Here, I'll even put the link out. Here you go. Here's the link. If you're trolling the show, please, by all means, enter the dungeon of hell.
You should have asked them which Bible was he referring to, the Christian Bible or Satanic Bible.
Well, maybe if he's listening or watching or whatever, he'll come in and tell us. Not. And we were broadcasting much later too. I mean, we were broadcasting from 11 to 1 in the morning.
That's what we used to do, yeah.
So I mean, we got a lot of night creatures that called into the show.
That's putting it one way, yes.
But again, like I said, there was a lot of people that called into the show that just blew me away. with what they wanted to talk about and their knowledge on certain things, and it just added to the overall conversation that we were already having. It's like, wow, you got to come back on the show and let's talk about this a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
But that never happened. It was 9 out of 10 times a one-shot deal. One shot deal. Yes, Mars, Night Stalkers. We have plenty of those. I guess obviously the highest profile Night Stalker was Bishop Sean Manchester.
Oh yeah.
Um,
That guy was a classic.
mhm. I mean, he's more than welcome to come on the show. He's always been more than welcome to come on the show to talk about the Highgate Vampire. But always took to the
Moral
shadows, moral high ground. Excuse me. Yeah, exactly. The moral high ground. That he was obviously on a whole different level than we are. We're just minions, and he's very important.
Part of the evil cabal.
The evil cabal that we just we believe everything David Ferrant said. But no, we look at when it came to the Highgate Vampire, I originally had it open to Shaw Manchester to come on the show.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't even thinking about David Ferrant in the beginning. I'm like, I just want to talk about the Highgate Vampire, and the first thing that I found was Shaw Manchester.
Mm-hmm. Because of the book he wrote, right?
No, not even. I heard an old podcast, World of the Unknown, I believe the podcast was. And these guys were sort of like a Christian-based sort of podcast,
right?
That did things on the paranormal. But they had him on to talk about the Highgate Vampire, and I found it like fascinating. I'm like, wow, this is actually really cool. And I found his I found contact information for Shaw Manchester. And I believed I sent him an email or whatever, asking him if he wanted to come on the show. I never heard back from him. So then I forged forward, and I found out about David Ferrant. And then I heard David Ferrant on, I don't know what show it was. I think it might have been Coast to Coast.
Oh, okay.
Was it Coast? It might have been Coast to Coast. I don't know. It was a show. Anyways, he was on there and listening to his version of the Highgate Vampire. I'm like, okay, this is more like it. This makes more sense to me than what Sean
A real life,
Manchester.
a real life blood-sucking vampire.
Yeah, it just didn't make any sense to me, and this seems more realistic. And so I did a little bit more research, and then obviously I found Gareth's interview with him. And I listened to Gareth's interview with him, and I'm like, okay, gotta have him on. So had I actually messaged David on Facebook of all things, because I didn't have an email, but I sent him a friend request. He accepted, and then I sent him a message stating that, hi David. Holy crap, man. Sorry about that. Been a long day. It's hi, I'm so and so. I have a radio show. I'd love to have you on to talk about the Highgate Vampire. And in his sort of, secretive sort of fashion, he started asking me questions like, if I'm sort of affiliated with Sean Manchester in a roundabout way.
Yeah.
And I had to assure him, I have no connections to Sean Manchester at all. In fact, I listened to a couple shows and read a couple things on you and your sort of version or your take on the Highgate Vampire, and I'd much rather have you on the show anyways, because yours seems to be more realistic and believable to me than what he's spewing.
Yeah.
So I guess he liked that, because I don't know how many times David came on the show after that.
Yeah. Quite a few times.
Quite a few times. He was a regular here on the show. Became a very dear friend.
Yep.
And
I was so hoping to meet up with him when I went to London, but unfortunately he had passed already by then.
Yeah. It's, too bad. Really too bad.
Yeah.
Too bad. Really miss him. And yeah. But throughout all that, though, we maintained, and I stated several times on the radio show that, David, Sean, you're more than welcome to call into the show or have us call you, contact you, whatever, to have you on to talk, give us your sort of side of the Highgate Vampire scenario. But
despite all the things you said about us,
despite that, even even before that, obviously, but even though he did say a bunch of lunacy about us,
I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah. What he collected, he's a cyber stalker.
He is.
And the information that he gathered online about myself and you and whoever else, it's just like, wow, this guy collected. He's actually pretty far off, but whatever. He's got some valid points.
He's not too far off.
Not too far off, but whatever. I mean, so be it. That's the way you want to be. That's the way you want. But needless to say, he's never been on the show, and I don't think he'll ever come on the show now.
I don't think so either.
I don't even think he entertains talking about the Highgate Vampire anymore. Anyways,
you don't think he talks about it anymore?
No, I think he's retired from it. But who's to say? I'm sure if you press the right buttons, push him into a corner, I'm sure he would come out of the woodwork and start stalking again.
Yeah.
Maybe this might be it. Maybe I should put hashtag Sean Manchester.
Yeah.
What? Does this guy listen to the show still, do you think?
Yeah.
Do you think he listens to the show?
I don't know.
Or watches it?
He may listen to us on New Visions. I don't think he's on YouTube. Or maybe he watches after the fact.
Oh, he's on YouTube. He's got lots of shit on YouTube. He's got his own
I know
YouTube.
he does, but I don't know if he watches our show on YouTube.
I don't know. Who knows? But if he is, the invitation is extended as always. We would love to have you on the show to talk about the Highgate Vampire, at least your version of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously David's silenced now. His although there's plenty of information and footage, archive footage, and all that kind of stuff of David talking about it. Because you see lots of people now coming out of the woodwork, podcasts that talk about the Highgate Vampire, and listening to it, it's like, wow, you know, if David were alive, he would, I don't know. He'd be rolling in his grave anyways.
Yeah. Right now, there's no one to sort of dispute that. You know what I mean? No authority to be able to dispute that. And unfortunately, now that David's passed, and I know Della, I know Della does her best.
She does her
but,
best. Yeah.
But at the end of the day, she's only one person. And when it was the two of them, at least they had a two-pronged approach. But now, unfortunately, it's just her. It's tough. I mean, I'm sure she's overwhelmed with a lot of the shit that's being sprouted and all of that kind of stuff. And it's just one of those things. It's like, it almost seems like people like wait for opportunities to like come out of the woodwork and just spew it when they know they can't have any backlash. You know.
I mean, there are a lot of people who will that are friends of David's that will Patsy and some other folks.
Mm-hmm.
It's really, really, really it's unfortunate. I mean, you're always going to have your haters again that will spew bullshit, and that goes with the territory. When you put yourself out there, expect that.
You have to have a thick skin.
You do have to have a thick skin. I mean, you look at Sean Manchester. Not everybody believes his fucking shit.
Yeah,
and I'm sure he's got his fair share of people fucking nitpicking at his feet.
Most likely, yeah.
At his story, probably more so than David.
The difference is though that Sean Manchester will go back and stalk them in turn.
Well, what's sad is his sort of his presence. Blah blah. Supposedly a fucking bishop.
Yeah,
which is bogus. But who are we to say? But him coming off like that would sort of confuse people who are just haven't got a clue about the real background. I mean, I still have pictures that David and Della sent me, and I won't publish them online, but they're pretty damaging, if you will. Sean Manchester.
Yeah.
Let's just say they're not, and you know what? They're already there. They're already out there online. I mean, if you look hard enough, you'll find them. But I myself won't publish, like I won't put them on, share them online. I'm not going to go down that route. There are already people who have gone down that route, and they can take care of that. Not me. I'm not dealing with that. It's not worth it. I don't care if he cyber stalks or whatever else. I'm not. That's not who I'm. I'm not about tarnishing people's sort of reputations, if you will.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Unless you do something really horrendous.
Mm-hmm.
If you do something really horrendous, then all bets are off. But for the most part, if all you're saying, if all someone is saying is just something stupid, I try just to look the other way.
Have you ever had somebody who's sort of tried their best to sort of get under your skin to the point where you're like, oh?
I can't say that I have to that extent. I mean, I guess you can kind of say Manchester was one, but didn't faze me, the shit he said about me.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I just found it entertaining, if anything. That's all it was.
Yeah, exactly.
And I guess, look at, I mean, I'm sure if he had the means and if he did, he could probably push it further, and he probably would.
But I mean, at the end of the day, it's all on how you react to it. Like, I mean, unless he says something that actually gets you in trouble, You know what I'm saying? I mean, if all he's saying he goes, oh, you know, that Alex guy is a Satan worshiper. Okay, sure, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like that stuff's not going to phase me.
You're
right?
stating the obvious.
Yeah, exactly. You're stating the obvious. A lot of people know that already, right?
No, but
that stuff.
if all of a sudden, you know, your boss at work gets a call from some guy named Bishop Sean Manchester, and starts telling your boss, you know, you have a Satan worshiper working for you. What do you think your boss would say?
You'd probably laugh.
And how do you know this?
Because I know my boss well enough, and he knows me pretty good. That he knows that this is just a bunch of shit. But no, he'd probably laugh. While he's on the phone, he'll probably act all serious, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then he'll call me into his office and saying, "What the fuck's going on?
What the fuck is this quackpot? Who's this quackpot calling me saying you're
a Satan worshiper?" Yeah. Ah, fuck, it's hilarious.
I mean, what is it with these fucking quackpots that state the obvious?
Yeah, exactly.
You're not making any inroads.
No.
You've already been down that path.
I've been called worse by lesser people.
It's not like anyone's you know, never said that you worship Satan.
I say it myself.
You know, but I mean, somebody else saying it to you.
Has someone said it to me? I don't think someone actually has.
No. But I mean, you know, somebody who doesn't even really know you, and they just say, "Look, you're a Satan worshiper."
Yeah.
It's like, so what are you trying to say? What are you trying to say?
I'll play along. I'm like, yeah. So,
but it's like, come on. In this day and age, what are you trying to get at?
Yeah, exactly. It's not that big of a deal nowadays. I mean, it is if you're, you know, belong to a religion, like if you're a priest or an imam or whatever. But I mean, to the layperson, who gives a fuck? You know, it's like, come on. If that's the best you can do, then I'm sorry, it doesn't faze me.
Well, look at okay, so we might as well tell people now. We've just started up the Church of the Holy Burrito.
Yeah. It's a strict burrito diet. And yeah.
And we're just waiting for those of you who would like to join the Holy Church of the Holy Burrito. Do we have any takers?
Refried beans only.
Well, no, you have to eat refried beans while reciting the holy tantrum or whatever it's called.
The holy mantra.
The mantra. The holy mantra. Tantra. And you how long? Okay, so you have a time limit. How long can you keep those refried beans in before?
I don't know. It's a good question.
Say an hour, 2 hours?
I would say that, yeah.
About 2 hours before they start hitting you and you start re-singing?
out of a different pipe hole.
Well, that's what I mean, re-singing, right?
Yeah. All I can say is that I shouldn't be going on long journeys if I have a lot of refried beans.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No, unless you take, what is it, ammonium?
Ammonium?
Ammonium. What's it called? Ammonium. Those
I think
fucking
it's ammonium.
Ammonium. You take the pills, fucking shuts you down. You don't take a shit for days.
Or you could just, you know, have a colostomy bag.
Well, you take that fucking pill, and all of a sudden, just like, I can't shit anymore. Wow, this is really going places.
Yeah, it's gone down the tube.
No, this is YouTube.
Right. Pun intended, by the way.
Yeah, YouTube.
It's a good thing we're not monetized because we'd definitely be demonetized on this video.
Well, we are demonetizing. We're demonicizing.
Yeah, exactly.
Next Sunday we got a pretty cool show, man.
Yeah,
Our good friends Michelle and Amelia are joining us.
From the Outer Realm.
Always fun to have those two on, and let's just say the discussions get quite intriguing.
They do, and we always try. Steve and I always try to outdo each other on seeing who can make them laugh the hardest. So it'll be a fun, entertaining show.
Yeah, always fun and entertaining, guys. And trip on over to their YouTube channel because they do have a channel here on YouTube. The
They
Outer
do.
Realm.
It's kind of weird because they go off of a network.
Yeah.
So just if you go to Facebook, just look for the Outer Realm with Michelle DeRoche and Amelia Pisano.
Mhm.
And you should be able to find them. Like when they do live shows, I think they do live shows every Wednesday, Thursday,
Thursday, and it's broadcasted out of everything. What is it? Fucking
pretty much. You'll be able to
YouTube,
see it
Facebook.
Facebook, YouTube,
I
a
don't
bunch
know
of
if they
different
do
other
Twitch.
mediums.
Out of their what is it? The United
United, I can't remember the
United
name now. United Radio Network or something like that.
UFO. I don't know what the station's called, but they simulcast out of several mediums. And Wednesday,
We'll have that info next week when we have them on anyway.
Yeah, well, the link, I think I put the links on in the show page here on
Yeah.
YouTube. So if you haven't subscribed, if you haven't liked, please like the show, folks. Please like the show.
I know, we're
Please
desperate.
subscribe.
We're desperate.
Because I don't know, the chat is awfully quiet. It's just too quiet.
It died down all of a
It
sudden.
drives me fucking nuts when people get too quiet.
Yeah, he's Steve's an attention grabber, so please say something in the chat.
Attention grabber. It's like, well, it says we have 6 people watching.
Yeah, one of them is me.
One of them's me too.
So that's 4 people watching.
4 people watching. My God. But hey, we always have the loyal listeners at newvisionsradio.com.
Yep. There we go. 7 now.
Hey Trevor, how are you? Yeah, it's yeah. But hey, that's the way it goes, right? That's the way it goes. So yeah, next Sunday night we've got Michelle and Amelia joining us, and it always turns into a great conversation. Michelle, who's most notorious for being known as being Canada's most haunted.
Being on Canada's Most Haunted?
No, Canada's Most Haunted. That's her sort of the website, and
okay.
And her sort of investigative group at the time, I guess, she had with Patrick. I forget what his last name is. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, we're not having Patrick on. We're having Michelle on.
No, Patrick wouldn't come on here. He wouldn't come on anyways, I don't think. I think I was on a show where Patrick was on one time.
On her show?
It was some other show.
Oh.
Patrick was on, and I was a guest as well, but I can't remember where it was now. I don't know. Doesn't really matter. I don't know. But anyways, yeah. So next Sunday night, Michelle and Amelia will be on the show from the Outer Realm. You can check it here on YouTube. The Outer Realm is their show name. And if you're on Facebook, yeah, you can search it on Facebook to find them there as well. They will be both on. And like I said, when they're on, things get crazy.
Yes, they do.
They always get crazy.
Even when we go on their show.
Yeah. So
minus the drinking.
Minus the drinking, yeah. So good to have them back on. Looking forward to next Sunday night. And we have Mr. Tim Shaw coming on soon. We're still working on a date with Tim. He'll be on. Who else? We got something else going on.
I don't know. Do we? I don't know.
I feel like something else is going on.
Yeah, it'll probably come to us after we stop the broadcast.
Yeah. Yeah. Probably. I don't know. So yeah, I guess until next Sunday night. Take care, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening.
See you later.
We really do appreciate you listening to the show and supporting and all that kind of stuff. And we'll be back next Sunday night.
Yes,
Take
we
care.
will.
Take care.
Have a good night.
Adios. You have watched and listened to Nocturnal Frequency Radio here on the New Visions Radio Network. And again, simulcasting live on our YouTube channel. Good night, everyone.
Good night.